Welcome to Secure Cyber Connect Live with Jay Adamson and Warren Atkinson, where we're joined by information cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals who share their journeys, unique perspectives and offer advice and guidance. Today we're at the Digital Transformation Expo at XL London and we're joined by Mike. Mike, could you introduce yourself? Give us a high-level overview who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Mike Tarbard. I am the co-founder and CEO of Every Child Online. We are an IT asset disposal charity. We've worked very hard to become pretty much a professional outfit. We partner with lots of companies across the country, providing them with IT asset disposal services. We basically go in, collect all the surplus IT equipment, we wipe it, provide hard drive, wipe certificates, and then ultimately we give that kit, once we've refurbished it, out to the community. So we support kids, young adults that are in disadvantaged areas. We support schools, charities, and we support social services. And the whole idea is to support those that are on the wrong side of the digital divide, which is a big issue in the UK.
No, definitely, you're doing some crucially important work. So what's the motivation? What drives you for doing this work?
To be honest with you, it's kids. The ultimate goal for me is to provide technology to a child that doesn't know they're creatively have creative skills. So somebody that could potentially become the next graphic designer, could be in the movies, could be cartoons, could be developing products. The idea nowadays that pretty much any creative role, certainly in business, requires technology. That one individual, if he was never exposed to that skill, would never be inspired. Would never have understood there was a digital creative spark inside of them. So I'm trying to find that creative spark by getting kit out to those people that don't even realise they've got that sort of talent. That is the core of what we're trying to achieve. But ultimately, when it comes to any kind of employment role these days, having technology and being able to use technology is going to help you advance in your future career. Without it, unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult for a youngster to get a decent job.
No, I certainly agree with you, and obviously you speak with people from across the industry. You're here at DTX. What are some of the frustrations and challenges organisations are facing? And appreciate your working sort of in proxy with some of these organisations.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised to know that there's still companies out there that would put technology on a shelf and watch it gather dust. And sometimes there's no policy involved in the company. They don't really know what to do with it. So someone walks around here, they see what we're doing. Eureka moment, they're thinking to themselves, well, let's get all this stuff out of the cupboard. For one reason, they've now got some space to actually utilise in their everyday work. But the idea is that from a company's perspective, there's environmental social governance in regards to they might have great products, they might have great services, but if they're helping out the environment and if they're helping out the community, there's some great points there when it comes to some tenders that they might be involved in. So we wave a big flag. People walking around today have an opportunity to get involved with us, and ultimately we become partners. We visit their premises regularly, collecting their gear, giving it out to the kids, and everyone wins.
That's brilliant, and obviously that legacy systems that some organisations have, as you mentioned, in the cupboard somewhere, is on a risk register. The CISO knows it, and he knows at some point someone's going to pick it up, and it could be data on it that's confidential. What's the process? How do you dispose of the data that's on it and clean it?
So we are not just a charity; we're a professional IT asset disposal business. What that basically means is that once we've collected that equipment, the hard drive needs to be wiped. So we have, should I say, accredited software that will allow us to wipe all of the data from those devices to the point where we can provide a proof certificate to prove that everything's gone. Nothing can be tracked, nothing can be used again, and then all of a sudden we've got this device ready to be refurbished and go back out the door again. So there is concerns from companies about their data, but like I say, we have the software to get rid of all of that data. It's up to them, in fact. If they want to take out those hard drives and stamp on them, they can do that. Drill some holes in them. We'll still take the kit. So ultimately, we can even shred. We can actually destroy those hard drives as well. And even if it's the stuff's broken, it could be some technology that's not quite working. We'll take all of the old kit as well, and we can recycle it down to component parts. Either use it for fixing devices, or literally make some money out of the recycling of those materials.
No, that's brilliant. And I speak to a lot of CIOs and CISOs, for instance, and they have got piles of stock that they want to get rid of, but they can't because of sensitive data. So I can certainly make some introductions over the coming weeks. And you're at DTX. What's brought you here? What were you and the team hoping to achieve today?
Well, it's the IT industry. They are key to our success, and any industry. But you're talking about individuals within businesses across all kinds of industrial sectors. So the IT team are here. They could be from the food industry, they could be from technology, they could be from law. They're here today. They're here at other events very similar to this, and they're our key audience. So if we can get them and the sustainability people and environment, social governance people, it's about making introductions. So they might not be the decision maker, or they might be the decision maker, but ultimately they come here understanding that they've got this tech in the cupboard, and this coming to a show like this gives us the opportunity to create those introductions and ultimately, support each other.
Yeah, and I think it is important to have allies and advocates on the inside, because you're not going to have board members more often than not at these events, but you are going to have someone that's a representative of the organisation. They spend time with you and the team face to face, see the passion and real sort of credibility that you've got, of course, and then they can go back into organisation and say, look, I've met these guys and girls. That's
the plan. Yeah, we've got data and we've got information that we can send to someone if they need more hard information. We onboard ourselves to lots of enterprise companies now. That's a really arduous task, but a necessary one if you want to get those kind of clients. So we've got to a level now where over 5 years we've really honed down the professional side of it. We've created this foundation where we get all this tech coming in, and then what it's allowed us to do then is to grow our projects. And now we're going out into the community doing more and more different types of projects, which is the really exciting side of it. And one day, hopefully, we'll see the results of our labour, where someone, young kid that didn't have a technology when he was a kid, got our kit and is now working for an excellent company and comes to us one day as an IT manager of some kind and reciprocates, what we've done for them. So, this is a long game for us. We want to help now and hopefully in the future as well.
That's amazing. And look, in terms of the footfall here at DTX, have you had many leads? Have you had much interest?
We have been rammed. So today, what we've done, we have students as well help us with our refurbishment processes, but on occasions we take them out of our facilities to give them some really new experiences. So at some point there was 6 of us on this stand and we were all really busy. The kids had an excellent experience, from jumping on the train coming to London for the first time, having to navigate themselves to a place like this. It was an excellent experience for them. They came in, they started talking to people, handing out flyers. We've been buzzing all afternoon. It's quieting down quite a lot now, as you can tell, but we've been placed right in front of the main stage, and it allowed us to grab some people as they were walking by. But people have actually come and seeked us out today because we are the charity partner here, and people want to find solutions to their tech issues.
That's brilliant, and I commend you and the team for giving individuals that are entering the industry opportunity for practical experience. And I'm a recruiter myself, and I do get frustrated when hiring managers won't see someone because they haven't got hands-on experience. They've got certs, they've got the passion, they've got the integrity as well to work in the industry. And like I said, I commend you and the team for giving that opportunity to get that hands-on experience.
No, I appreciate it. We're looking at trying to get more and more students and young kids that really don't know what direction they want in life. And if we can get more of those kids to get involved in all the kinds of aspects of what we're trying to achieve, from turning up to exhibitions to helping us with our refurbishment, we even make stuff out of the kit. We do stuff where we go into the community, and it's all exposure. It's all information that they can use when they're sitting in having an interview to say that I don't just sit at home doing my exams and learning things. I actually go out there actively try and improve my chances in life. And ultimately, if they sit in front of someone one day and we've benefited them, then we've done our job. It's been great.
That's great. And look, obviously your services, what sort of organisations could benefit from them? Is that everyone and anyone, or is there
literally, we go from individuals at home that have a kit full of kit, and I have no doubt everyone's got a mobile phone or 2 in a drawer, or an iPad in a drawer, or laptop. We can provide services to the individual right up to enterprise companies where they're giving us thousands. I mean, literally they'll either come to us with a van load, park up our facility and bring it all in. It's a great volunteer day for a lot of staff in the enterprise companies. Everyone comes out, starts bringing all the stuff, stacking them up on our shelves for us, or we will go directly to anybody's offices to pick up the kit. Like I said before, whether it's stuff we can use or it's stuff that's old that we can recycle, we'll take everything.
That's brilliant. And look, for anyone that's watching in terms of organisations or those junior individuals entering the industry, what's the best way for them to contact you guys and girls?
Right, so go onto our website, everychildonline.co.uk.
Yeah.
They can certainly come to any one of these shows. There's plenty of tech shows that we go to, so if they're wandering around, in fact, if they're coming to some of these tech shows, bring that tech along. The old kit that they've got, we'll happily take it along and bring it back to the facility. We'll wipe it and provide a proof certificate once we've got their details. But ultimately, go to the website, send us an email. There's a form that they can fill out to say that they're interested, and then from there we'll start engaging. We'll probably do a Teams meeting, we'll send them some information, and then hopefully we'll start that ball rolling.
That's great. I look to our community. We've got a fairly large YouTube following, we've got a community platform. You want to speak directly to them? Yeah, what can we do as a community and them to help you?
Well, listen, yes, if you've got old tech, in fact, I tell you what would be the best thing you could do is go to work tomorrow, talk to someone possibly in charge of IT or someone that's in charge of social, sustainability, and ask to do one of our campaigns. It's called Pass IT On, and it's an internal campaign. It's where individuals from the company bring in their old tech to their company. We'll come and collect it. We'll wipe it all, we'll either recycle it or we'll get it back out to the community. But someone, somewhere out there, if you can go to work tomorrow, get that set up. It's an excellent sustainability project for your teams, and then ultimately everyone benefits. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Nice.
Welcome to Secure CyberConnect Live with Warren Atkinson and Jay Adamson, where we're joined by information cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals. We share our journeys, unique perspectives and offer advice and guidance. Today we're at the Digital Transformation Expo here at XL London, and we're joined by Gurps. Gurps, you mind introducing yourself, give us a high-level overview of who you are and what's brought you to DTX today?
Thank you very much, Warren. Firstly, thank you for having me here and doing this interview, and also having me on your podcast as well. I really, really appreciate it. So I'm here at the Digital Transformation Expo in London XL, where I've just delivered a talk on delivering change management with a human-centric and cultural approach. And that's one of my passions is, I think within technology, we're just focusing too much on the processes and tech side and not enough on the people-centric approach. Because the technologies are brilliant, they're glamorous, they're flashy, and everybody wants the latest tech, but it's people that are deploying the tech, it's people that are using the tech, and it's people that are impacted by all the tech and all the changes that's happening. So my passion for trying to spread the experience that I have, within change management over the last 20 years or so now, is really trying to get on stage and really empower or educate as many people as I can, and just share my experiences of deploying change in not just sort of technical change in cybersecurity and banking, but also in property and construction, and also, as you know, fitness modeling and bodybuilding as well.
No, I appreciate sharing the mindset that you bring to project management, for instance, and the industry itself is second to none. I do commend you to that, and really thankful for the contributions to the industry. And
thank you.
One question I've asked a lot of people over the last sort of 48 hours is, what's more impactful or what's easier to do? Is it protecting and securing the people or the technology?
That's a brilliant question, Warren. I think both is the answer. Like I said, it's people that are using the technology, it's people that are implementing the technology, and also it's people that are unfortunately being victimized by the technology as well, or the threat actors, certainly within cybersecurity. And one of the key sort of takeaways, which I'll repeat from the talk just now, is that if somebody steals your phone, you are treated as the victim, and it's the person who's stolen and committed the crime that we point the finger at. But in the cybersecurity industry, if you click a phishing link by accident, it's almost like you're being treated as the criminal rather than the victim. And this is something that, I have a bee in my bonnet about, because that's just simply not right. It's you being attacked, by a cyber attack or by a threat actor. That has got nothing to do with you. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
So why should our cybersecurity culture not make you want to put your hand up and stand up and say, hey, I've been a victim? So what I'm seeing more and more with these events and people speaking up is a lot of people, one, they don't actually know what to do in the event of a phishing attack, or if they receive an email, or what, where to turn to internally. But also, two, the resistance to want to raise their hand to say, hey, I might have a phishing email in my inbox. So I think that's why the people element is so important for me, Warren.
And if there's managers, leaders out there, what can they do to encourage their teams to actually put their hand up or come forward and say, look, I made this mistake? Is there sort of a go-to strategy or some quick wins that can help empower individuals that work for organisations to drive cultural change and be honest and be transparent?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Warren. I think it's quite a timely question as well, because we're in October now, and as you know, it's Cyber Awareness Month. So I think that's absolutely, the sort of staple of the cybersecurity industry at the moment is, getting that message across. And, CAM is now, or Cyber Awareness Month is quite widely acknowledged. Most companies are now, pushing a lot of education and training through the month of October, and I think that's a starting point. We are shining the light on all these different types of cyber attacks. We're shining the light on all the wonderful technologies, that are available at events such as DTX, which can help mitigate against those kind of attacks. And now more so, I'm seeing a trend, certainly on the public speaking stage, a trend towards a focus on people and empathetic leadership and having that more human-centric cultural awareness to when we're deploying all these changes. So I think, again, Cyber Awareness Month is a great start, but let's not keep it a month. It should be an ongoing, regular awareness. Should be a CAM awareness year. As far as I'm concerned.
Definitely. And what do you think leaders or organisations can do to encourage ongoing recognition? Because we spoke about this off camera, and security is more often not a thankless job. And I believe that we need to champion those that are doing well in the industry, of course, to retain them as opposed to losing them. So what more can organisations and leaders do to, show respect and thank their staff, for instance?
Yeah.
Recognition.
Absolutely, Warren. I think, we go to work for two main reasons, right? One is the external rewards, which is our paycheck and money. But the one that's overlooked is the internal rewards, which are the thank yous, the manners, the pleases, the pat on the back when you've done something right, or you've delivered a big project. And obviously, I find that the focus is more on the external. We want to climb our ranks on the career ladder. We want to get that big paycheck. We want to get the next pay rise. But actually, we focus too much on that and not enough on the internal rewards, such as, saying thank you when our teammates have perhaps, completed an activity for us, or those soft skills when we're sending out emails or messages on Teams, Slack, whatever the channel may be. And again, on the talk I mentioned that 70% of all communication is body language.
Yeah.
Right. So if 70% of all communication is body language, then we are losing 70% of communication on digital communications. So when you're receiving a message, you can't see the person's body language. So how is that message interpreted? And what is the impact of those messages? And so if we can make those kind of messages and those requests a lot more human, that's how I think we turn the daily habits of people into a more longer-term cybersecurity culture. It sounds a bit cliche, but really is, the little things that make the big things happen, and manners maketh man.
No, most definitely. And from where you're standing, I appreciate we've covered a few frustrations and a few challenges, but are there any other challenges that you're seeing across industry, especially given the conversations over the last sort of 2 days here at DTX, for instance?
Yeah, Warren, I think, so if I see a challenge, I like to talk less and do more about it, right? So my challenge that I saw was trying to push this people element and human-centric delivery, change management based on humans and culture, right? Because I was seeing there's over the last year on the speaking circuit at these kind of events, there's so much focus on, the flashiest technology, and, AI is obviously, people don't stop talking about it, but the people element is just really being left behind. And what's happening to people, the rates of burnout and anxieties are increased, right? In the digital workplace now, we're obviously working from home, a lot more hybrid ways of working. There's no longer that separation between home life and work life, and it's just all become grey, and people don't know when to stop. I myself am struggling with sleep at the moment as well for these kind of reasons.
Sorry to hear that.
No, but it's and these kind of things are contributing to burnout and anxiety and other mental tortures that people are going through. So for me, I'm seeing that as a challenge, and then that's exactly why I've come to this event today to be a part of this talk and deliver this talk, and why I'm talking to you now, I guess, as well, is to just get that message across to move away from the tech and be more people orientated.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And why do you think events such as DTX are so important for the industry?
Well, one of my favourite lines, right? If you don't network, you don't get work.
I love this, and it's something that I share with everyone that I speak with, and it certainly resonates with those at a higher level that are trying to enhance their own brand awareness. And on that, for security leaders that are looking, watching, how important is personal branding nowadays, especially if you're looking to advance your career?
Yeah, absolutely, Warren. I place a massive emphasis on personal branding, and I think the key advice I can give is start expanding your network to build your personal brand on LinkedIn. It's a great tool for professionals, certainly in the cybersecurity space. Connect with Secure Connect. Warren and Jay are doing phenomenal things. Building a community of cybersecurity, and I absolutely love the work that you guys are doing and the messaging that you're sending out to the community. It's so impressive, and you absolutely need to connect with Warren and Jay if you haven't done so already.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm waiting for the check, so you can pay me offline.
And in terms of outside social media, how can people enhance their personal branding internally with the organisation?
So outside of social media, it's going back to people, like connect with people, outside of LinkedIn. Like that's a starting point, but perhaps use LinkedIn to expand the network, but then go and meet them. Always ask them out for a coffee or a drink, or just to perhaps get some advice or some mentoring lessons, and make it human, and go out and connect with them. In reality, not just on LinkedIn. And that way, other soft skills get developed as well, like communication, your confidence builds, and you don't know where opportunities could be created because of your network, right? Again, I love my quotes, but your network is your net worth. I'm here today speaking with you on this interview, and I've spoken on the stage today because you and I met at the Future of Cybersecurity event, back in February, and we just simply started talking. And then Warren told me about DTX and the sort of strategy that these events are delivering. And I've been speaking with DTX now at all of their events this year, and that was all because I showed up and
you're consistently showing up.
Yes,
and I think that's the important thing. You're consistent. You're messaging. You're there. You're going above and beyond. But ultimately, you need to balance that with well-being, of course. And are there any effective strategies that people can take away from conversations today? Is there any harsh realities, for instance, that they should be aware of?
Yeah, so if we sticking with the theme of culture and burnout and people's well-being within the tech industry, and back-to-back meeting culture, I would say the little things we can do are such as reducing our meeting times by 5 minutes, perhaps ending the call 5 minutes early or starting it 5 minutes late. Just to sort of stretch your legs if you're able to, go and get some fresh air, get some fresh air in your lungs. Or crucially, what I find is, and going back to my fitness modeling days, is just anything that gets the heart rate up.
Yeah.
Whether it's climbing up the stairs a couple of times, whether it's a short walk, a couple of press-ups, a bit of singing, anything that gets the heart rate up, I find gets you out of your seated position, which we can spend sort of 8, 9, 10 hours a day in.
What does that do to your mind and your body when you are increasing your heart rate and the blood flow around your body, for instance?
Personally, I've found that, as more blood and oxygen flows to the brain and throughout the body, like it increases my concentration. Yeah. I feel a lot fresher, I feel more energized for the next call, rather than just, like hand in head and be like, oh, here, I've got to do another call. So it just sort of freshens me up, gets me more focused, and also just gives me a couple of minutes to prepare and find out what the next call is about as well, because we all get those calls where there's a meeting invite and there's no agenda and you've got no idea who's on the call or what it's about, and you're like, here goes another meeting. So it really is the small things for me. So get your heart rate up. And take those small breaks in between calls.
No, I appreciate you sharing. And look, I know you're a public speaker, you do a lot of speaking and coaching, for instance, as well. For organisations that are watching, how can you help them?
get in touch for your next event. If you need a speaker on cybersecurity, change management, AI implementation, so anything to do with change management. I've been delivering change now across multiple different industries, so professionally in the financial services and banking industry, personally in the property and construction world, and also fitness modeling and bodybuilding. And what that's allowed me to do is create this change management or delivery framework, which I call the 4D delivery framework, which stands for decide, do, done. Which stands for decide, define, do, done. So decide, define, do, done. And that is the cycle that any change goes through, whether you're implementing, the latest cybersecurity AI tech into your organizations, or you're building a new house or a site extension, or you just want to get lean for that next beach holiday. So if there's anybody that, or any individual or organization that wants to learn a very efficient, lean methodology of change management and landing those projects, in my experience has been 50% quicker and a lot cheaper. So if you want to land your projects a lot quicker and cheaper, get in touch and let me know when your next event is and if you need a speaker there.
What's the best way for them to connect and get in touch with you? Is there an email? Is it social media?
Thank you, Warren. Yeah, LinkedIn, that's the best. So Gurps Khaira, that's the best way, and I will get back to you very, very quickly. Just message me, connect with me, but LinkedIn is my tool.
That's brilliant. Well, really appreciate your time once again, Gurps, and to our community members and those that are tuning in, we highly recommend that you reach out to Gurps, follow certainly a fountain of knowledge, of course, and the impact that he's having on the industry is second to none. Thanks, Gurps.
Thank you very much, Warren.
This is Secure CyberConnect Live with Warren Atkinson and Jay Adamson, where we're joined by information cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals who share their journeys, unique perspectives and offer advice and guidance. Today we're at the Excel, where we've been at the Digital Transformation Expedition, and we're joined by CJ. CJ, do you mind introducing yourself and giving us a high-level overview of who you are and what's brought you here today?
Okay, my name is Chijoke Okoye. My friends call me CJ. I'm a security analyst. I work with Landmark Information Group. I'm at the DTX today because I'm a panelist today in one of the sessions that was held today, the multi-cloud management, making it more resilient and secure. Tomorrow I'll also be speaking about hidden threats in your pipeline and who really owns security, right? So that's what brought me to DTX today.
I'm really looking forward to it. And look, speaking on stage, I know I've seen you speak in the past, brilliant speaker, and I do commend you for your contributions to the industry, especially when you're empowering and opening doors for others. But how did it feel today being out there on the stage?
Well, elating, right? It's really interesting when I can give back, right? When I talk to people about security, it's a field that I'm very, very interested in. Like I spent a lot of years trying to get into security, so I like it when I can encourage people to make that switch if they really want to. Like it's a really encouraging field. It's a nice field, right? And if you get into it, it makes you more aware, right? And if you can secure, even if it's one less attack or incident, then it's really rewarding and you get to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think security is very unique because there's that impact that goes on, not just in a business, but to their customers, for instance, the everyday society, and you are protecting and serving essentially.
Yeah. The truth is, so I talk to people a lot. Sometimes I'm in a cab and I'm talking to a cabman, and it fascinates you sometimes how unaware people are. Their everyday, what they do. So, for instance, I was here today and someone said, "Oh, there's a free Wi-Fi," and all that, and I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that." But so it fascinates you how unaware people are. People can jump on anything. They see a flash drive somewhere, they pick it up, they plug their devices into anything, but not knowing the risks that those things carry as well.
Curiosity kills the cat.
Yeah. You're right. So people really need to be more enlightened, get more education and awareness on what's really around them, because really, the attackers, the malicious attackers are not playing, right? They jump on every single thing just to, if it's not for anything, right? More data, more information on people and what our day-to-day lives are and how they can make use of those things. So we really need to be more aware.
No, most definitely. And why are events such as DTX so important for the industry?
There are tons of them, right? I think along with DTS, I think there's also another event that is happened yesterday and today. I wasn't able to go because I had to come here, and of course traveling all the way from Sheffield, right? So, but yeah, there are tons of events. I think also I'm aware that the cybersecurity clusters around different regions, like the one happening in Yorkshire, Northwest, in Manchester, and in London as well. I know also the NCSC, right? They have a lot of events that are going on with respect to cybersecurity, and it's a good thing, right? So just like I said, making people more aware of the things that are out there, and of course. People like myself, we always look for every opportunity we can just to enlighten people more on the threats that are out there, really.
No, that's brilliant. And I know you go above and beyond, especially trying to help others enter the industry. In terms of people that are watching, how can we make the industry a bit more inclusive and accessible? What practical things can our audience do, for instance, or organisations that are watching?
First of all, I tell people this, right? So interest from people, it's very key, right? So you can force a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink water, right? So if you have a genuine interest in cybersecurity, right, you need to roll up your sleeves and, like I say, begin to get your hands dirty. One of those things, first of all, is so when people talk about gatekeeping in the cybersecurity sector, I say but I'll give you an instance, right? If I want to get someone into cybersecurity and I know that this person already knows what MFA is, it's easier, right? But if you're coming to cybersecurity and I have to explain to you what MFA is, then that makes my job a little bit harder, right? So even if you're in another sector, if it's cloud engineering, software development, IT support and all that, it's easier to make that switch. So even if you're not in cybersecurity and you really want to get into cybersecurity, get your hands dirty, build a server somewhere, install VMware, VirtualBox, install those things and begin to look at how those things work. Then when you're discussing these things, at least you already have a background, right? So I don't have to start explaining basic concepts to you, right? But with respect to inclusivity, kindly speaking, it's a little bit more tolerant than it was a couple of years ago, right? So people are beginning to become more aware, right? That, it's not just, but then I think, there's still a lot of work to be done, don't get me wrong, right? But at least we're not where we were a couple of years ago.
That's encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. And from your perspective, from your peers, from your work, what's one frustration that you're hearing across the industry or challenge that organisations are facing, and what are you personally doing to help organisations perhaps overcome that challenge?
Challenge. Well, kindly speaking, I'll be frank with you, right? A couple of years ago, IT in general, not just cybersecurity, right, was seen as a cost center, right, where what we do cannot be quantified in terms of pounds and pence, right? So where if you go and say, I need £100,000 for this server, they look at you like, what are you bringing to the table, right? But now organizations are beginning to become more aware that, security is something we also need to take seriously. So it's becoming a little bit more receptive. And of course, one of the things we actually, because it didn't happen overnight, right? But these days you find C-suites, people in cybersecurity in the C-suite level, right, where those decisions are made. So you have like the Chief Information Security Officer, the Chief Information Officer. These people are there to represent IT and cybersecurity in general. So it's not just a thing of, management sits or like finances, we can't do this. But if there are genuine reasons why those things should be done, then cybersecurity in general should also be heard, right? So it's easy for me to say, I don't want to spend these monies, right? Because I don't see what it's doing for us in the baseline, right? But not knowing that it's oftentimes when an event occurs or when an incident occurs, I'll be like, cybersecurity is actually working, right?
A bit reactive as opposed to proactive.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's a good thing because, so like I said, right now the industry is becoming more proactive, right? So we're becoming more proactive than reactive, right? So people are doing a lot of risk assessment, risk management to ensure that these risks are actually taken care of. And also, I tell people that a lot of our work is actually 95% or more of our work are done in that proactive stage, right? Where we try and limit these incidents or events or attacks and all that. Once it's happened, then you're now on the back foot and begin to backtrack and things like that. So a lot of our work, a lot of our jobs are done in the proactive stage where we're trying to, defend the organization, block these attacks from happening. So risk management, we're doing a lot of risk management and we're seeing the results for that. Attacks are reducing. Yeah, attacks are there. There are some, you have these, high level attacks, things that are happening these days. I don't want to mention names, but a couple of weeks, we've had about 3 or 4 in the past few weeks, right? But of course, for us, what it also does is that there are takeaways, there are lessons we learn from all those things, right? So, for instance, where I work, we can take those incidents. Then we need to create more awareness here. We need to enlighten the employees on things like that, right? Hopefully, and hope that those things are being received by the people who are trying to train on all those things.
No, of course, and look, I appreciate you working in a highly regulated and high-pressured environment, and there's threat actors non-stop around the clock. You've got your superiors and the board, you're breathing down your neck, and of course you're protecting service users, your customers, clients, and society. So, from your perspective, how do you find balance in terms of your well-being and ensure that you're not burning out?
Well, that's a tough one, right? But I think at the end of the day, right, you need to take care of yourself, because if you break down, the job is still going to be there, right? So sometimes you need to, and I like cybersecurity because it's like every day it's a new thing. It's not a field that is it's there are a lot of repeatable processes, right? But every day there's something new, and when you hear sometimes about how some of these attacks happen, you need to go back and read up on. I tell people, like, let me take for instance, I'm not trying to downplay any sector or any job, right? But if you take accounting, for instance, oftentimes it's always maybe 1 + 1 is equals to 1, or 1 + 1 is equals to 11, or 1 is equals to 2, right? But for cybersecurity, it's different, because with each day are new types of attacks coming up, right? We've heard of things like MFA fatigue. Whoever knew there would be anything like MFA fatigue a couple of years ago, right? But that's come up now, and that's actually a thing, and that's what people are trying to address, right? So, and now the malicious attackers are going from exploiting infrastructure to actually exploiting people, right? So, because if I know that I have to close port 80, then that attacker probably has nowhere. But then if I know I can get the password from an employee, I'd rather focus on trying to get the username by maybe credential harvesting and things like that. And that's another avenue of attack now. So, like I said, what we need to do is be able to. But coming back to your original question about fatigue and all that, it's a field that is how do I put it? It's fast-paced, right? It can be really exhausting, but take time, take care of yourself. It's really, really important. Do the much that you can, and when you can, shut down, go home, and refresh and come back. The attackers will always be there, right? So they don't go on, bank holidays or like they're always looking for new means to be able to carry out this attack. So I think that's for me in a nutshell.
No, I appreciate you sharing. And for those that are perhaps looking to break into the industry or cross-train and move into cyber as a cyber analyst, for instance, what would you say one pro and one con of cybersecurity is in terms of a career choice?
Okay, so I'd use one, which is a pro and it's a con as well, right? One is awareness. So it makes you more aware. Right, so which means that like I said, someone said to me, "Oh, there's free Wi-Fi," and I said, "No, I'm not doing that." That's because I'm aware and I know what can happen on free Wi-Fi, right? But also, that same awareness can also be a con, because it makes you paranoid, basically, right? Yeah. So it makes you, so you begin to question every single thing, like anything I want to know. Oh, is this secure? Should I do this? Should I plug my hard drive there? Should I plug my phone there? And things. So, like I said, it makes you kind of paranoid, right? So I think for me that's a pro. It's actually also a con for me, because it might just be someone left the charger for genuinely for you to use, but then you're like, I'm not going to charge my phone there because I don't know what's behind that. So I think that's just for me.
That's some solid advice. And look, for our community and audience, if they want to connect with you on LinkedIn or hear from you in the future, how can they do that?
Okay, so my name is Chijoke Okoye on LinkedIn. Just Chijoke Okoye on LinkedIn. on X, I'm at One Tech Guy on X, right? So that's just it. I don't know.
That's brilliant. Any final thoughts?
No, just be more aware, right? Be aware of your environment. Be aware of, if you're not using any device, you don't need to connect it to the internet, then don't connect it to the internet, right? That is one less avenue of attack by malicious people, basically.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you.
Thanks. Welcome to Secure Cyber Connect Live with Warren Atkinson and Jay Adamson, where we're joined by information cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals. This afternoon we're at the Digital Transformation Expedition at London. I'm joined by Tom at Rybeck. Tom, could you give us a high-level overview of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Tom Jackson. I work for Rybeck as a cybersecurity consultant, and we specialise in governance, risk and compliance, so effectively helping people achieve levels of compliance, whether that be Cyber Essentials all the way up to ISO 27001.
That's brilliant. And who's this young lady?
This is Fergus. Highland Cow. He's been our mascot for a couple of years now. Just find everyone always comes over and for some strange reason has an obsession with Highland cows, so it's a really good conversation starter.
Anything you want to say?
Okay. A bit nervous.
So look, we're at DTX. What's brought you here? What are you looking to achieve today, Tom?
So we come to DTX to connect with other organisations, whether that be partnership or if it's companies that we can help achieve some level of cybersecurity. So yeah, just to see kind of who's out there and what sort of services they're after and see if we can help them.
No, that's brilliant. In terms of obviously your time here, have you enjoyed the talks? Have you enjoyed the footfall, the people, the challenges that you're hearing about?
Yeah, I mean, it's been relatively busy. I only actually got here not too long ago, so I haven't had a chance to go and see any of the talks, but from speaking to everyone else who's been on the stand, it's been really good and been some positive conversations and talks going on.
No, that's brilliant. Well, look, from where you stand, of course, you engage with a number of people across industry, cross sector.
Yeah.
What are the key frustrations and challenges that you're hearing from security leaders and personnel, and how are you working to help them overcome those challenges?
I think 100% the biggest challenge is actually convincing people how much of an issue cybersecurity is. It's always in the news and people are accepting of the fact that it's always in the news, but when it's in the news it's always kind of big companies, big organisations, and when you speak to the kind of like micro companies all the way up to relatively large companies, they just think it's not going to happen to us, or they think it might happen to us, but I have absolutely no idea where to start, so I'm just going to stick my head in the sand and hope for the best. So by far the biggest issue is actually convincing people that they need some form of security, and also convincing people that it doesn't have to be ridiculously expensive. You say cybersecurity and people think it's like you have to invest in some like tens of thousands of pounds worth of software, but often a lot of the time what they already have in place is good, it's maybe just not being used to its full potential, and also a lot of the issues actually come from issues within their policies and their procedures, and the way that their employees actually interact with endpoints and things like that. So it's about convincing people that maybe something as simple as changing some policies and procedures can make a massive difference to the security of their organisation.
I appreciate you sharing. And those organisations that are being a bit more proactive, ones that you're supporting, what's been the main driver? Is it regulations? Is it need for security? Is it been driven by the board? Is it all of the above?
All of the above, but I'd say it leans more towards the regulations and the supply chain security. So a lot of the time they maybe want to get a new contract in or sell externally outside of the UK, and they don't maybe realise that when they do that, one of the first questions that they're going to get asked from the supplier or the potential client is, do you have X level of insurance? Whether that be 27001 if you want to sell into places like America and Europe, or whether it be Cyber Essentials if you want to sell into government or healthcare, things like that within the UK. So then all of a sudden they have this potential money maker or potential expansion in their supply chain, but they've got a massive blocker because they don't have something in place. So they'll come to us and they'll ask us to effectively help them achieve that, and we will do that.
That's brilliant that you're empowering organisations, and I certainly agree with you. Regulations, if organisations don't have them, unfortunately it's a business blocker, and other organisations see it as a competitive advantage when you have got those certifications, for instance. So what does the process look like if you were to onboard a new client or customer, get them to a phase of maturity? What does that look like in terms of timescale and whatnot?
Timescale massively depends on what timescale they actually have. I don't want to say we can make any timescale work, because that's been a bit. But also what resources they can give as well. We can fully kind of get boots to the ground and help them work that, or if they want a more kind of working with them approach, if they can supply us with a couple of resources to help us do things like implement policies and procedures, it makes it go a hell of a lot quicker. 27001, I would recommend it will be somewhere around 6 months to get it all in place if you don't have a large team of people that you can throw at it, and we can help them go from doing a maturity assessment to begin with to see roughly where they are and tell them where they need to be, help them actually implement all the policies, procedures and the ISMS, and then run their internal audits and put them in touch with a certification body who can actually certify them at the end. 6 months is a comfortable amount of time. It can be done a lot quicker, but like I say, it depends on who they have at their end to sort of throw at it as well.
And tell us a little bit more about your certification, your IASME, is that right?
Yes, so we're a certification body for IASME. So we help people achieve Cyber Essentials, Cyber Essentials Plus and Cyber Assurance, which is it's almost like a version of 27001. It's IASME's version of 27001. We have people who wanted to get certified in Cyber Essentials or Cyber Essentials Plus. We can help them kind of fill in the questionnaire. We can advise them what they need to do in order to achieve that, and then we can actually certify them as well, so we can give them a certificate at the end and work with them that way.
That's brilliant. And what sort of organisations can benefit from that, if you don't mind me asking? Is there a particular size?
No, I mean, it's open for all sizes. It's recommended by the government. I think a lot of people think in the future it's going to be mandatory, and it already is mandatory depending on where you want to sort of sell into supply chain wise. I think they're clamping down on the education sector. They're being required to have it in place. If you want to sell into government, if you want certain other contracts, you're being asked to have Cyber Essentials. It also works well for your insurance, so you do get £25,000 worth of cyber insurance with that if you qualify, depending on how much your turnover is. But also, if you're looking for cyber insurance externally, it's a really good thing to tell your insurer, and it can lower your premiums or save you a hell of a lot of time filling in the questionnaires that they're required to. If you just say we're Cyber Essentials certified, they're usually quite happy with that. So.
No, that's brilliant. And look, you're entering the industry itself. Something that we're working towards, trying to attract and retain talent, of course. Tell us a bit more about your journey into cyber, your role, perhaps some pros and cons of working in cybersecurity that might resonate with our audience or inspire them to join themselves.
Yeah. So I mean, my background is completely non-technical. I unfortunately was a police officer for 7 years. Prior to that, I was in the fire service, and I've tried most of the emergency service hats. Decided police wasn't the career for me and wanted to leave, and it was suggested by a couple of people to go into cybersecurity. It's a saying I've stolen from someone else, but when you say I work in cybersecurity, it's like saying I work in the NHS. What do you do? There's so many different roles in there. And I thought, from a non-technical background, there's no way that I'm going to be able to kind of merge into cybersecurity. But compliance is more about policies and procedures, and it's not as technical. So I was very lucky with Rybeck that I got in touch with Alistair, one of the directors, who is also an ex-police officer, asked for some advice, and he effectively mentored me and helped me enter the industry as a consultant. And I think definitely pros-wise, it was a smooth transition from police into cyber, because police is all about laws and paperwork and the way that you submit things and things like that. And realistically, that's the same when you're looking at compliance. It's all that you have to achieve this standard, you have to do it by doing this, and help them get it that way. So pros, definitely, I found it was a smooth transition, and also from the way that I've got into the industry, I feel like it's a very welcoming industry, because there's not a lot of places you can ask for some advice and someone will go, well, actually 6 months down the line I'll give you a job, sort of thing. And I'm not saying that's like a guaranteed wherever you go, but I do think when I was looking at coming into cyber, there were so many people who were helpful and gave me advice and things like that. It actually made the journey in quite enjoyable.
And what about cons? Any cons?
It's just the frustration of convincing people how kind of serious it is and why they need to take it seriously and put something in place, not just from a selling and Rybeck growth point of view, but from obviously being an ex-police officer, you want to see, you don't want to see people suffer from things like cyber attacks, and actually convincing them that it is a serious issue and there are such minor changes that you can make that would make a big difference, but they just don't necessarily want to listen. So yeah, that's I'd say the biggest con.
I appreciate you sharing. And for our audience, if they want to get in contact with you directly and talk about Rybeck services, what's the best way for them to contact you?
So we've got there's a sales email, sales@rybeck.co.uk is probably the easiest way, or by all means reach out to one of us on LinkedIn and we can speak to you directly. Probably the easiest. Or come to one of these events, because we're usually always here.
You are. Well, appreciate your time.
No, thank you.
Hopefully we see more of you on the podcast in the near future.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Cheers. High five. Welcome to Secure Cyber Connect Live with Jadams and Warren Atkinson, where we're joined by information cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals. Today, we're at the Excel. We've been at Digital Transformation Expedition here in London. Now, could you tell the community who you are and what's brought you to the Excel today?
Okay, thank you, Warren. So my name is Divine Uzodimma, and I'm a cybersecurity professional. I was here to speak at a panel where we were discussing about the increasing insider threats that the adoption of AI has caused. So I was talking about how AI adoption has increased insider threats and what organizations can do to mitigate those risks.
Oh, that's brilliant. And how did you find being on stage?
Oh, being on stage was interesting. It's not the first time I've done it, so it was pretty awesome. And I mean, I found it natural to do that, and yeah, the feedback from the audience was good as well.
No, that's good to hear, and look, it helps you build confidence, and I do commend you for the knowledge sharing that you do. I know we've partnered on a few things in the past.
Yes.
So in terms of the expo itself, vendors, professionals, connecting with them, what did you think of the vendors on site? What did you think of the attendees?
Yeah, it's very interesting group of people to talk to. They really enjoyed the insights, and they were keen on the practical steps, at the end of the talk, and they really wanted to know how they could drive, especially in terms of supply chain risks, because it's very very significant risk today. So they were really interested and they engaged really well.
That's good to hear. And in terms of other frustrations or challenges that you're seeing across industry, or even talking with your peers, what do they look like, and what are you doing personally to help organisations overcome them?
So looking at, because today we looked at the increase in deepfake, people doing interviews with deepfake tools. We also looked at how agentic AI has increased the risk of insider risk, because some workflows people use agentic AI for, some of those workflows give excessive permissions to these AI tools. So I was suggesting or recommending that organizations look into governance using the NIST AI risk management framework, adopt these and adopt a more security first culture to make sure that beyond the technical controls that we can implement, like the UABA, the user and entity behavior analytics, there's more of trainings, more of oversight from the leadership perspective that they need to do.
No, that's brilliant. And look, I know you've been involved in mentorship programs in the past in a few different communities, but talking to our audience, how can we make the industry more accessible and inclusive?
Well, it's about giving equal chances to different professionals with different backgrounds, different backgrounds, different races, and then it's about making sure that with industry partners, with academia, to make sure that while people are graduating from universities, they have some apprenticeship programs that they could get, so that they can get the industry experience they require. Because while we clamor about the shortage of cybersecurity experts, there is also a skills gap that has created that shortage, and we need to collaborate to reach that gap. Yeah.
And in terms of your personal journey, what advice could you give to others that are trying to break into the industry in terms of getting noticed and getting yourself out there in front of employers?
Well, do it afraid, and I believe you should be consistent. If you're trying to break in, you shouldn't allow the state of the labor market to deter you from making those applications, networking, meeting mentors, asking for advice, doing some gap analysis. There's also being very close to communities. Join communities, engage, make sure your active contributions are seen, recognized, make as much active contributions as possible, because these things make you stand out. Okay, these things make you stand out beyond your technical expertise.
Those contributions, I know you volunteer at a lot of events in the past as well. Is that something that you would encourage others to do?
Yes, I encourage, if you can organize events, if you can volunteer to help with events that are being set up in your community, if you can volunteer to speak at events, these things really make you stand out, and they give you that boldness to speak in front of a crowd of people that you never thought you could have had a chance to speak to. So those active contributions, including mentoring as well, mentoring people, doing mock interviews for others, it's like giving back to the community in terms of, with your journey, you'll be able to make that impact based on what you've done and what has worked for you. So
that makes sense. Look, you're a cybersecurity analyst now. What would you say the 3 pros and 3 cons are as working as a cybersecurity analyst?
3 pros and 3 cons. 3 is a big number. Okay, so pros, I mean, it's a very rewarding field in terms of the rewards. Compensation is good. There's also the adrenaline. You know, you're not doing. It's not boring. You're not doing the same thing every single day. So there's that excitement that you're actually contributing to. So there's the adrenaline, that there's this adventure that you get to do something new, and then finally there's this significant. There's that mindset that you're contributing to something big. So it's that satisfaction, yes, that's the word, satisfaction that you're contributing to something big, because cybersecurity is an ever-evolving field. Now, in terms of the cons, because you're going to be on your toes, if you work in incident response, you're going to find that there's more of crisis management, so if you're not someone that can handle, the panic in responding to incidents, then you might find it a little difficult. And then also if you're someone that always wants recognition, you might have done a lot of work, but when there's a breach, that recognition isn't there. You might be blamed for a lot of things. And you should be able to accept that as part of your work. You should be also able to do work beyond regular day-to-day work. You should be able to. You might have to step out of after normal working hours to fill in for gaps in security. So those are the cons, and I mentioned the pros earlier as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing. And for our community and audience that want to connect with you on LinkedIn, for instance, I know you share quite a lot of content.
Yes, so my name is Divine Uzodinma on LinkedIn. You can send me a connection request, follow me, and I'll return the favor.
That's brilliant. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Secure Cyber Connect Live with Warren Atkinson and Jay Adamson, where we're joined by information cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals. Today we're at the XL for the Digital Transformation Expedition, and we're joined by Gospel. Gospel, could you give us a high-level overview of who you are and what you do?
My name is Gospel Uche. I'm a lead product marketing manager, and I'm also an AI strategist. So I lead companies, tech companies in the market. I help push them out for them to be seen in the tech market space.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And what brought you to DTX today? What were you looking to achieve?
So I'm actually a speaker on one of the stages, actually the AI and data stage. I'm actually a speaker, and I'll be speaking there tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to be speaking about have you heard of B Network?
No, I haven't.
So B Network is a transport company based in Manchester, just the way you have Stagecoach, which controls all transports, or they're like the head of transport here. So in Manchester is B Network. So I was opportuned to observe when they launched their AI-powered tap and go system.
Okay.
The same way you have tap and go here in London metro station, same way you have tap and go in B Network buses. So they launched it, and I was opportune to observe it while the mayor was actually the one launching it that day. So I saw, what they did, how they did it, when they did it, and who they did it with. So with that experience, I was able to, do a deep research. So I actually met the mayor one-on-one at 2 events, and I asked him questions. I was able to know 1 or 2 things they did. And also I'll also be talking about other tech companies that are into AI and how they were able to get customers through marketing. So basically that's the primary reason why I'm here.
And how important is it for sales teams, for instance, to work in collaboration with marketing teams?
To be fair, it was much easier back in the day, but now you have so many companies coming up. Before it was kind of monopolized, but now you have so many tech companies trying to gain their space in the tech space. They are trying to be the number one. So, and they have different methods. They try to put themselves out there. So, but now is a bit harder like before. Now you have so many tech companies, so many startups out there. So you don't know which is which. And basically they offer the same service actually, but it's just that this one is more enhanced. This one looks better. But at the end of the day, I feel like now it's harder than how it was before.
So as a marketer, how do you cut through the noise? How do you ensure that the correct messaging is going to the correct people?
What I would say is you don't sell the product. You sell emotions.
That's great. I love that.
So if I want you to get something from me, I don't come and say buy this shirt.
You understand? I'll tell you, buy this shirt because your girlfriend is gonna like it. That's a better way for you to get the shirt, right? So you don't sell products, you sell emotions. That's just that for that.
I do much the same when I speak to CIOs, CISOs, for instance. I know they're under a lot of pressure. So what I try to sell to them is peace of mind, assurance, and confidence
100%.
that they've got a network and a community behind them, that in times of crisis they can lean on them and depend on them, for instance, and not on their own. And I think things like DTX, for instance, really highlights the sense of community within the industry itself.
Yeah, so many people, there are so many good products out there, but they have bad marketing. Some of these companies you see out there, they are not as good as you think, but they have good marketing team. Do you understand? If your product might be the best, but if you don't have a good team behind it, you can't show. How would people know? You feel me? How would people know your product is the best? I don't want to call names of companies, but I know companies that they don't deliver the best, but because of the team they have behind them, that's why you see them everywhere. You can see their banner everywhere.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the marketing team, the lead team, these are the people that direct your product to the right audience. They have the right campaign, they have the right target audience to show your product. So at the end of the day, is the backbone behind your product is your market.
Yeah, because the marketing team raise awareness of the product and service
100%.
Before it's put in front of someone physically, for instance.
100%.
And, how important are events such as DTX for the industry?
Before you ask me that question, I'm going to ask you your own question.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any background in marketing?
A little bit, and I tried to take that role on myself as a small business and boutique, and it's something that I really enjoy doing, actually, to be completely transparent.
Because you speak like a marketer too, you know? So
I work with a lot of vendors. I've worked with them across Europe, the US, and anytime I put a sales leader in, a sales director, a VP, the second hire is always someone in marketing. We need to have a strategy, and that needs to align to the engineering department, to the sales function, and of course, the founder or the CEO's vision.
Right. So what made you go into media right now?
Well, media is just an aspect of our community. I'm a recruiter at heart. I like to connect and facilitate, and the podcast itself has allowed me to amplify individuals and organisations' voices and connect with many, as opposed to just connecting one at a time. There's only a certain fine amount of hours that I can have in a day in terms of what I want to do, and balance that with home life, of course. And through media, we're in a digital age now. It allows us to connect with people outside of our network, outside of LinkedIn, for instance, and the messages that we put out there, the impact. It's everlasting. It's always going to be there, unless the internet gets taken down. But that being said, events like this, we get to meet, forge new relationships, friends, and those friendships sometimes come off of social media. They come off of digital, and you meet in person. And
when you talk about friendship, the only reason why I'm here is because I've built good friendship, good connections, and that's even part of marketing. For you to actually sell what you want to sell, or for you to do what you want to do, you have to build good relationships with people. Do you understand? So I'm just outlining that phrase you used, friendship. Do you understand? Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. And look, for those that are looking to break into tech, AI, security, consider marketing, for instance. What would you say the 2 or 3 pros and cons are of that as a career?
The first thing I'll say is, I'm going to give you a quote. The quote is, embarrassment is the cost of entry.
Yes.
If you want to break into the tech industry, cybersecurity, AI, marketing, you have to be ready to be embarrassed. Do you understand? What I mean is you have to be ready to put yourself out there, irrespective of what people will say about you. When I started myself, I've been in this country for 2 years. When I came, obviously I couldn't speak properly and I wasn't confident like this myself, but I didn't care. People talked. If you want to talk, you can talk. But that's just it. By the end of the day, you have to do what you need to do. Do you understand? So that's the first thing I'll say. If you're confident, you can easily build your skill over time. You can easily meet the right people over time. Do you understand? So there are people that have the skill, but they can't get what they want because they are not confident. Do you understand? So you have to be ready to be embarrassed. You have to be ready to get confident to do what you want to do. Then secondly, you have to go out there. You have to put yourself out there. You don't just sit home and apply. Go and start up something. You apply for 20 jobs today. Start up your own. Create a community. Volunteer.
Be the flame, not the moth.
My friends here, both of them, they all started, volunteering, trying to do something. Do you understand? So that's just the first thing. I feel like if you wait out there, you say you're trying to apply, you're trying to do sometimes it's not going to work because the competition is too much, realistically. Do you understand? So you have to put yourself out there, irrespective of what people are going to say.
No, that's brilliant. Really appreciate it. And for those that want to connect with you, perhaps even engage you in terms of your services, What's the handle on LinkedIn?
So my LinkedIn is Gospel Uche. Just if you search Gospel Uche, product marketing lead and AI strategy. I'm leading 2 big tech events here in the UK, which we just finished one last week. We partnered with Google and some other well-known AI companies. And on Instagram is GU9__.
That's brilliant. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
Great to
so
meet
much. Thank you so much.
Welcome to Secure Cyber Connect Live. Warren Atkinson, Jay Adamson. We're a joined by information cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals who share their journeys, unique perspectives and offer advice and guidance. Today we're at Excel London at the Digital Transformation Expo and I'm joined by Sabrina. Sabrina, thanks for joining us. We've been supporting and following your work for quite a while. Tell us about your experience at DTX today.
Well, firstly, thank you for having me. Always love working with the Secure Connect guys. They make every day a pleasure.
How's your experience been?
My experience has been a whirlwind. It's just been such a fun few days, getting to speak to everyone, meet people that you spend so much time talking to online, and then you actually get to spend time with them in person, like yourself. I love seeing the team. So yeah, it's been such a good few days, and I'm really sad that it's over. But Manchester, 2026, we'll see you there.
Looking forward to it. From all of us here at Secure Cyber Connect and DTX, we hope you've enjoyed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here at Excel at DTX, Digital Transformation Expo 2025 London. Been enjoying the Digital Transformation Expo and listening to some fantastic talks, the likes of Safira Dani and Gurps Khaira, and obviously getting a chance to do some live podcasts for the Secure Cyber Connect community. It's been a pleasure to be here. Look forward to seeing you again.